Hello, my name's Ajay and you're watching The Defining Moment for Creating the Culture of Conscience. Today we're joined by successful activist and social campaigner Mr. Hamdy Shahein. Mr. Shahein was born in Egypt and has lived in London for 31 years. In 2006, he received the Best Newsagent Award from Living London, a tribute to his work in the community for the last 27 years. He's also the recipient of the Extra Mile Award from the Lilith Project, an organisation which campaigns for the victims of violence against women. And he's also the founder and director of Hamdy's Porn Free. Mr. Shahein, thank you very much for joining us on The Defining Moment. Well, today's topic is about the war against porn, and that's a war that you've been fighting for at least the last 17 years. So before we find out more about that story, can you please share with us a defining moment from your life?
Well, it's been many, but one of the most interesting one is when I actually decide to stop selling pornography in my shop, which is selling top shelf magazines, and actually it came like it used to be a part of the business. You have to sell top shelf magazine in the newsagents, quite normal, and at one moment I had a man was looking at a magazine, and then a lady and her child walked in, and the man he was actually looking, and he came very near from the child, and then he opened the magazines, and I thought it was absolutely really bad thing to do, and that's when I decided. I actually chucked the man out of the shop, and then from that moment I said enough is enough. I cleared all my shelves, and that's when I started my campaign. And also I'm very, very grateful for the support of my customers, my local community, my MPs, etc. I am very, very grateful for them.
Was he provoked for religious reasons?
It's not really, I mean, it does something to do with religion, but my campaign was based on non-religious completely.
And so what was it then that motivated you to make that decision? I'm not going to sell porn.
I think obviously it's degrading to women. I see the kind of society we're living in, what is the effect of porn to other people, etc. And I really, when I decide, I think enough is enough.
And of course, as a father of three, you just didn't want to see, I guess, another person, a young person, being corrupted as you did in your store.
Exactly, and many years it used to be the Asian community on most of the newsagent in London, and mostly you see the wife working in the shop, the daughter working in the shop, the son working in the shop underage, and when you look at that, somebody obviously underage handling top shelf magazines, I don't think is right.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Now, you've been a soldier in this, as I said, for the last 17 years.
Yes.
Let's look at the porn industry itself. How successful is the porn industry?
If you look at on the BBC website, the porn industry, it's worth £1 billion a year in UK. And global, worldwide, it's worth £30 billion. So it is a lot of money there, and there's a lot of money to be made.
So it's an industry worth £30 billion.
Yes.
And who's creating and who's actually consuming this pornographic content?
Who's creating it? Obviously, it's mostly the born stars. And like I said, if you look at in the BBC web link again, you look at that the people selling pornography, the people selling, in my case, people selling top shelf magazines, which obviously my topic mostly all about, and what you call them like manufacturers, or you call them like publishers. And like I said, it's a lot of money. Is a lot of people made a lot of money, and they are the most richest people in UK and all over the world.
Are they a kind of mafia organization, or are they just people? Anybody can become, let's say, a manufacturer of porn.
Well, it is obviously it's a lot of link to wrong people to do with obviously mafias and money laundering. It's a lot of it coming from pornography as well, same as like drugs, and is a lot of money to be made, and you know it's quite a few people obviously involved in it, including selling of the material itself.
Okay, so what do you see as the main threat of this ever-growing, ever successful porn culture? What's the threat?
Well, the threat is if you look at obviously and an individual, everybody, it's I mean it's degrading, the degrading of women, the exploitation of children. It's mixed. If a man look at a woman like an object, he can actually in pornography, a man look at a woman like, yes, when I want her, she's there. And I think it's completely wrong, and it does affect the society at the end of the day.
And do you see it as damaging the human condition, the actual human condition?
Yes, of course, it's a lot of, obviously it is damaging. You can see from a statistic that there is quite a lot of people, obviously not everybody, but people get addicted to pornography. And again, people look at it, they use it as a stimulation, a couple. But again, when people get addicted, I mean, I had spoken to a few people, and some of even young kids, which is 17, 18, they've been using porn since they 12, 13. It does affect the mind.
Now, how did they access porn at the age of 12?
This is my obviously one of my main problem with my campaign is to prove, and the simple way is look at society and look at what's happening in school. How can I mean, you can find many pornographic magazine in a school, and it's coming either the children get it from home, from parents, or buy it, and obviously some of the news agents they do sell to children, and that's one of my main problem, and I will get to that later on as well.
And those magazines are not explicitly porn magazines, they're so-called lads magazines.
Lads magazine is different. Lads magazine is actually it's been like between, and this has been a big problem. I've been fighting this for years. It never used to be called Lads magazine. I used to be fighting with like GQ, FHM, the old magazines, and now, which is in last couple of years, we had something like Nuts and Zoo, which is, it used to be a good magazines when they first came out. You can actually read it, but became like explicit, and they are breaking the boundaries all the time, and that's what obviously we call them Lads magazine. You got Nuts, Zoo, GQ, FHM, Front. It's quite a few of them, and this is actually where you have to draw the line, because obviously you can. There is no law to say where you can actually display them. You can see them in obviously next to Beano magazine, next to a child magazine, 8 years old, looking for a comic, and suddenly is confronted by Zoo and Nuts. And now, obviously, a part of my campaign, with the help of my MP Diana Abbott, we took it to Parliament. And actually, we are looking in the Parliament now to do something about the Lads magazine, and it's coming very soon.
Okay. You mentioned your local MP, Diane Abbott, is supporting you, and I was wondering, are local government and even health officials, do they take the threat, the war on porn, seriously?
Not really. We have a problem. I mean. And I talked about in so many interviews with the media. It's one thing a lot of people don't even know, even journalists don't know it. We take it for granted that it is illegal to sell pornography to under 18, which is what I mean pornography. It's not the videos. Videos, yes, it is under 18. You're not supposed to buy it. What I mean is the top shelf magazines, what you see in the newsagent and convenience stores. I came across about 15 years ago, just by luck. It is not there isn't a law there to say it is illegal to sell pornography to under 18. It is not. And I'm fighting that.
It's not illegal?
It is not illegal to sell pornography to under 18. And every time I come across with this question to a journalist, they didn't know. Even an MP, I sat with an MPs, they laughed. And after that, they found out it is not a law. There is a law there, 1959. And the law in the newsagent is, we take it for granted or voluntarily law, it is illegal, but it is not. And that's what I'm fighting in the parliament as well, with the help of my MPs.
And how about the health officials, doctors or clinics? I mean, there are all kinds of clinics now to support the spread of infections through sexually transmitted disease. Are those places concerned about pornography?
Well, they are and they're not. I mean, they are concerned, but it's nothing been done about it. I mean, to my knowledge, or in my opinion, the government needs to do quite a lot more, and they look at it from financial. It is bringing a lot of money, and it's healthy business even for the government, and it's a very, very big, powerful people to do with pornography. It's like a mafia business. So obviously, in my opinion, the government should intervene and should do something about it. And in Brazil in 2001, they used the porn industry as obviously to help the people, like educating people about AIDS, which I think it was a wrong thing to be used as well.
What would you say to the obviously millions of purveyors of porn who are out there, who will challenge you and say, well, look, it's my life, I'll do what I want, I'm not hurting anybody?
Well, obviously, it's quite a lot of people say that, and I came across with a question a few times. It is their life, but it is up to the individual. You can actually do something, like in life, normal, you can do something is good for you, but you're hurting other people. The only thing I would add is that every action that we do has an impact on ourselves as an individual. And others too. Obviously, when you look at some of this magazine, and when you look at the children being corrupted, their mind is being corrupted. They come in to buy just a normal, the innocent kids come into the shop, look at comics, and they're confronted by Lads magazine right next to them. So obviously, they think the woman is an object, and this is the media. What the industry, the porn industry, they're trying to do is they start you, it's like same like drugs. They start you as young as possible and you get addicted. And I think it's completely wrong. And something should be done about it. And I'm sure it's quite a lot of people are being, even in the industry itself, even quite a lot of people making a lot of money in the industry, but they still get hurt. The people work in the condition that actually people work in to do with pornography. Like prostitutes, etc., etc. And it's up to the individual, but it is, you can do something and you're hurting somebody, and at the same time you can do something and it's good for society. I mean, take for example, when you say, like, when I started my campaign, I single, on my own, and obviously I did as a single person, my campaign, it is in the parliament now, and it shows that yes, you can do something. One person can make a lot of difference.
Let's look at the impact that porn has had in other areas of society. People in the media industry or the entertainment industry will often say, follow the porn. And that's a sign of the very fact that the porn industry often leads the way when it comes to technology and new ideas, new creativity in the media. And of course, the internet is one obvious example of that. So it's been very successful in that way. But why do you think porn has had that kind of impact in those industries?
Sex is a part of universe, and it's been there for obviously a long time. And pornography came after sex, and I think, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people will share my opinion, the media used sex to obviously in so many subjects, so many programs, so many things, and obviously to make money. And I think it is not the pornography, is obviously is the sex came first, and this is follows. And I think it is obviously is making a lot of money for some people. If you look at the rap music business, you can see in the rap music business they wanted to use porn star to promote the rap music, but instead the actually rap music singers, they actually used themselves to promote the rap music, and they became actually porn star themselves, and they started to introduce porn.
So porn seems to kind of devour wherever it goes.
Yes, it is. I mean, if you look at any kind of advertisement, any kind of magazine now, even Cosmopolitan magazine for women, we can't even like put it in beginning of the shelf. You have to put it in behind other magazine or on top a little bit, not a full face, because obviously because of children, anything there is porn is being used.
Is it not just simply a case of supply and demand? There's a demand out there, and people are falling over themselves to supply it, in whether that's in music or through whatever media or anything else.
What you expect when a child come into the shop, for example, looking at a Beano magazine or a comic, and is confronted by Zoo and Nuts magazine, etc. It's becoming, it's like they think it's natural. So when they become like 12, 13, 14, it's natural to look at the top shelf of magazine. Is natural for them, and this is a kind of danger on society. This is what you think there is a demand, but people think it is natural to look at porn and natural, and obviously when you actually look at it, it's not. And that's what's all my campaign about.
Okay, well, let's look at your campaign, because you have been a grassroots campaigner for the right to be porn-free for the last 17 years. Can you tell us about that struggle?
It has been a long struggle, because obviously it was something when I decided to take action against it, I did. And I was confronted with obviously the publishers. The porn publishers. I had a couple of visits, and I was told that this is only friendly visits. I used to change my car every 2 weeks, to change it with a friend. I used to be followed, and my house being broken into twice, and I think that was related. Obscene phone calls in the middle of the night, etc., etc.
So you were hounded by these kind of mafioso pornography?
I did, yes. I mean, it was quite hard, and it's one man show. We used to have in a newsagent something called box out. Box out, it means newsagent can get whatever the wholesaler dump on him, and he have to take it. After fighting my wholesaler, which is the largest distributors, which is W.H. Smith, they actually conceded in 1996 by changing the law and terms and conditions for newsagent, and I was a part of that, and I have changed it. Obviously, it is up to the newsagent to opt in or to opt out to receive pornography.
So before then, basically you had to stock and you had to shelve whatever was sent to you by the distributor.
That's exactly, yes. Now you can actually, if you receive something you don't want, you can send it back and get a credit for it. But in my case it was different, because it was continuously. They keep sending, I keep sending back, and it's been going for years. And obviously I did take a legal action, and I resulted by obviously W.H. Smith conceded, send me a check. I refused the check because I thought it was an insult what they sent me. And I took another legal action for an organization called the ISSA, the Industrial Standard Service Agreement, which is a body between news agent and wholesalers, and it resulted in 3 successful, finding against WH Smith. And I had a meeting with WH Smith, the corporation director, and my MB Diana Abbott in the Parliament on last December, and it resulted to resolve the problem, and hopefully now they will stop sending pornography to me. And we will obviously, I have to work with Smith face to face with the definition of pornography, how to distribute top shelf magazines or the lads magazine. We have to work together now, so obviously it's better to resolve the problem what's been going for years.
Now obviously WH Smiths, as your distributor, they were concerned about the loss of profits from having those shelves on display in your newsagent. But for you, there hasn't actually been a loss of profit, because as a result of you taking this action, I believe you actually increased the profits in your store.
Actually, my business has increased, and it's not the money. You can't just. People say business is money. Really, it's against my principle. Yes, I can earn money, but I like to earn it the right way. If I think this is the wrong way, it's the same. Not just pornography. It's going through fireworks, cigarettes, etc., etc. I will not sell anything to underage, and. It's principle, and I don't think money is anything to do with it. I took it in principle, and I still stick to it, and I spend a lot of money. It didn't hurt me.
And I'm glad to hear that you've actually been rewarded for that in terms of your recognition through those awards, and also just the fact that your business is thriving, and you received the Living London Best Newsagent Award.
And the Best Newsagent as well, yes. Obviously, I'm absolutely really happy. The decision, it was the right decision. People said he will only go back to sell pornography in his shop, and here we are 17 years, and I've got one of the most successful newsagents in London.
Well, as you said, you've been a one-man show for all this time. If others want to get involved and support your activities, what do they need to know?
Well, actually, they can write to their MB, and they can actually write to Diana Abbott. She is one of the most obviously helpful MB for my campaign. They can donate money if they wanted to help with the campaign, because I spent the 17 years in my campaign on my own money, my own cost. I never had any money for anybody for my campaign. The struggle comes out of my personal conviction, and by the grace of God, I managed to make an impact on society, and on obviously for my campaign to go up to the Parliament. And I am hoping the law will be changed, and we're looking for, obviously we'll start with the definition of pornography, and as I said, because the law, it does not exist. If you want to do something and you really believe it's right, you'll do it, and you'll make a difference. I made a difference for society, and I think quite a lot of people, if they wanted to, they can. They can access my website. They have the website for Diana Abbott and other helpful website in, obviously, my website.
And what's the website called?
It's hamdysbornfree.co.uk or .com.
Okay. Well, thank you very much,
You're welcome.
Mr. Shahein, for coming in today and sharing
your
story with us.
Thank you.
Well, you've been watching The Defining Moment for creating the culture of conscience. If you'd like to find out more, we're on the web at www.definingmoment.eu. Thank you for watching, and we wish you all the best.